Welcome back, guys. So in this video I will show you the execution part of the coffee machine which I have designed in my previous video. So when you look at the the coffee design system, what we had is we had configuration selection is the one enum class where you will have espresso, cappuccino and filter. These are the enum constants. Okay, you know that enum constants are by default final and static. Then you have coffee bin. So the coffee bin, what this guy will help you to add the particular bin to the coffee machine. So what is the name, what is the quantity? So there is one constructor here. When you will create the object of this class, the both the field will get initialized, and then there is other way where you can set the data and you can get the data, because these fields are private in the nature, so that there should be getter and setter for the fields. Now what you have here is you have the brewing unit which will help you to prepare the coffee based on your selection, based on your ground coffee, based on your quantity, how many quantity of coffee you want. This guy will give you the coffee. This guy will give you the prepared coffee. Now there should be something called grinding. This is the grinding. So this guy will grind your coffee. So whenever you select any coffee, it will grind inside, right? Once it will grind, then only the coffee will get prepared. So this class will help you to grind your coffee beans. Now you have something called coffee machine. So, and before that you will have one interface, coffee machine interface. There is one method, brew coffee. So for that we need to have the implementations, right? So in the coffee machine, this guy implements coffee machine if this guy will have everything. So this guy will have the object of configurations. The configurations is the one which requires the data in the coffee machines, which will hold your water amount, which will hold your particular coffee bean in your system. So if you look at the coffee configuration part, the configurations here, what you have quantity of coffee and quantity of water, both are double, private in the nature. This field will get initialized through this parameterized constructor, and there is a read only access, because this we are going to put the data when first time we are going to use the coffee machine. So whenever we'll use coffee machine, we'll put the data in the configurations. So this is the configurations. Now go to the coffee machine. So there is a one map. So for every selection, what is the selection? For every espresso, cappuccino, you can put the configurations. What is the configurations? Quantity of coffee and quantity of water. Now there should be beans. So for every selection, for every espresso, cappuccino, you need to keep the beans. Like coffee beans you need to keep, right? The coffee beans will help you to prepare the coffee. Now these coffee beans will be grinded by the grinder. There should be a grinder in the coffee machine, and then once this is all three is done, there should be unit which will prepare your actual coffee. This unit is the one brewing unit. This guy will prepare actual coffee for you. Okay, now look at the constructor. This constructor, coffee machine constructor, will take one map. The map will have the selection and the coffee bin. So the coffee bin you need to keep and selection. So again this map, the bin, this class bin, this bins will get initialized by the constructor. The grinder object will get created, the brewing unit object will get created, and then we will create one map here. This map is the configurations map. So for every selection, for espresso, cappuccino, latte, you can put some default configurations. For espresso, I am saying that in this configurations class, what you have quantity of coffee and quantity of water. So you can put 80 quantity and water is this many liter. Again for filter you can keep the configurations, right? So in this map you can put the data for the configurations part. Now there is a method called brew coffee. So based on your selection, what is the selection is the enum constant, espresso, cappuccino and filter coffee. So based on the selection, if it is a filter coffee, call this brew filter coffee method which is there in the coffee machine. This guy will get the data from the configurations, and once it will get the data, it will grind your coffee. Okay, so if you look at here the grinding part, this dot grinder, so this is nothing but it will call this class object. Okay, grinder class object. So this refers current class object dot grinder dot grind. So grinder has a this is grind method. Grinder class has the grind method, you will call from here. This guy will take the type of coffee. If you will go inside that, what it will take, the coffee beans and quantity of coffee. So the coffee beans is espresso and the quantity is from this beans. Okay, you will have espresso dot get quantity, because in this beans, whatever beans you have it here, this beans. Okay, when you go inside the beans, the coffee bin, what you have, name and quantity, two fields you have. So you will have the get quantity and get name, right? So you will get the quantity. Now this entire method will give you the object of ground coffee. Now if you will remember, we have created one empty class ground coffee. This ground coffee will get initialized by the grinder class. This ground coffee get initialized by the grinder class. Now you have a unit where the actual coffee will get prepared, the brewing unit. If you go here, this is again a class. This class will have one method called brew. This will give you the actual coffee. So let's see here, this brew, again it will take how many arguments? It will take selection, which kind of coffee, then ground coffee, and then quantity. Three things it needs. So espresso, ground coffee, which you got it here, and then from the configurations get the water. Okay, and this guy basically will prepare the brew coffee. Same thing, the filter coffee, again take the filter, grind the coffee and brew the coffee. Then add beans. So whatever, let's say when you are using the coffee machine, the beans will get over, right? So you need to keep the beans. So for every selection you can put a coffee bean. So for this selection, the coffee selections, for every cappuccino, espresso and latte, you can put the beans. So this dot beans, what is the beans? You have this object, and beans, what are the data you have in the coffee beans? You have name and quantity. So scroll back. Yeah, so here you get the bean. Okay, this dot bean dot get the selection, you will get the coffee beans. And then if the existing beans not is equal to null, then existing beans dot get name equals to the new beans, whatever you have it here. If matches, then the quantity part, you get the quantity from the existing beans and add the new quantity. If not, throw the exception. Okay, this is the if part. If the beans are not there in the bin, if the beans are not there, you can put the beans. So you can put the selection. Let's say if there is a new selection, there is a new kind of coffee which came to the market, you want to keep that data in your coffee machine. So for that coffee selection, you can create new bin here, because it's a map, right? So here if you look at what beans we have created as a map. So this map will take selection and coffee bin, right? So that the newly added bin coffee you can keep in your system. Now app, this is the important part. So as a user, I need to know only this much. I'll create one map. The map will take coffee selection. For that selections, I need to have the coffee bin. Okay, because I need to grind, I need to brew the coffee, and I need to get the coffee. So this is the map. Map has one method. Okay, here you might be getting confused by seeing this map. This map class comes from the collection framework. Here just try to understand, like map is the class which will take two data, key and value pair, which we will see that going forward. Here just try to understand the concept. So because here my aim is to not to teach you the map, here my aim is to teach you how abstraction works, so that you can tell in the interview. So when you have a map which will take two data, right, the type of coffee selection and what is the configurations for that, so you can put in the map, and then you can make the object of coffee machine. So this coffee machine will take one kind of object, map. So map will help you to put the data into key value pair, right? For particular key, what is the data? For espresso, what is the data? For filter, what is the data? For that purpose, Java has given us map interface, and hash map is the class. So map is the interface and hash map is the class, which we'll see in the details in the collection framework. Now once you'll have the object of this coffee machine, you can call the brew coffee with the selection. So I want espresso, okay, because on this class there is a method called, there is only one method called brew coffee, right? And where is the implementations? The implementations, you just click on control, click on open implementations, you will come here. This is the implementations part. Okay, now go to the coffee app. Yeah, so when you call brew coffee with the selection, this will go to the coffee machine and it will go to the implementations part. Here it will call espresso brew coffee and this method will get executed. Okay, so go to the coffee app. Now run this program. See, your espresso is ready. So as a user, you just need to know for what configurations, what is the bin you need to keep in the coffee machine, what is the amount of water you need to keep, and then just call, okay, give me the coffee, it will give you the coffee. This is how simple it is. Just I took some time to explain you everything so that in the interview you can explain like, okay, the coffee machine is very complex, it has n number of units, but as a user I need to get one interface which will be useful for the user, right? And when we are able to design that kind of interface which has only essential feature for the user, we call it as abstraction, right? So that's how abstraction in the Java it works, guys. Thank you guys, thank you for watching this.